The United States offers the clearest example of how this self-reinforcing system actually works. With $38 trillion in debt, no other country comes even close, yet roughly 70% of that debt is owed to Americans themselves. The US, in essence, borrows from its own citizens. You see, when someone deposits money in a bank, it doesn't just sit in a vault. Banks put that money to work, trying to grow it so they can pass some interest back to depositors. They do this by lending, investing, and buying bonds. Right now, US commercial banks hold about $4.6 trillion in treasury bonds and other government securities, which is more than the GDP of Japan or India. Bonds are particularly popular because they're one of the safest ways to earn interest. And unlike stocks that swing wildly every day, a 10-year US government bond today pays a steady annual interest rate, offering reliable returns with little risk. But banks aren't alone in this. Pension funds, insurance companies, and investment firms all do the same. So essentially, private savings have become an indirect form of government borrowing. And although it sounds odd that the US borrows from itself, think of it as money moving from parts of the country where it's sitting idle to parts where it's needed. When the government pays interest on its debt, the money flows back to lenders, giving them more cash to buy more bonds and earn more interest. It's a closed loop where money cycles endlessly from lender to borrower and back again. The same loop exists between countries. About 30% of US debt is held overseas. Foreign governments and banks buy US bonds the same way American institutions do. Money flows into the US when it borrows, flows back out when it pays interest, and the cycle repeats. And it's not just America that does this. Every country borrows and every country lends. Japanese savings are turned into loans for the Saudis. Saudi savings become loans for Brazilians. Brazilian capital flows back into US bonds. This interconnected web creates an uneasy reality. To repay debts, governments must keep borrowing more and more. That may sound reckless, and in many ways it is, but it's also the foundation of how the global economy now works. Everything from economic growth to political stability depends on this endless cycle continuing.